we studied about preparation of ketones and physical properties of aldehydes and ketones. One of the hydrogen atom is substituted with some other group. For examples, I'll just take acetone reacting with hydroxylamine. Okay, a very important question. Okay, several times previously this question is asked. Hello my dear students, welcome back to session 4 on the chapter aldehydes, ketones and carboxylic acids. Last class, we studied about preparation of ketones and physical properties of aldehydes and ketones, as well as we learnt about the nucleophilic addition reactions. Under nucleophilic addition reactions, we had done with addition of HCN and the nucleophilic addition reaction, that is addition of alcohol. Today, we will be continuing with the same topic, addition of ammonia and its derivatives. So, nucleophiles such as ammonia and its derivatives. We know what is ammonia. Ammonia is NH3. Its derivatives means one of the hydrogen atom is substituted with some other group and we shall consider it to be Z. Okay, so NH2Z group is there, then we call it as derivative of ammonia. So ammonia as well as derivatives of ammonia are nucleophiles because nitrogen has a lone pair of electron, correct? This adds to the carbonyl of aldehydes and ketones. This reaction is reversible and it is catalyzed by acid, okay? The equilibrium favors the product formation due to the rapid dehydration of the intermediate to form carbon double bond NZ bond. So what happens is, for example, you have carbonyl group of aldehyde or it can be ketone and you have a derivative of ammonia, that is NH2Z group. First what happens? This bond breaks. To the carbon atom, you have the N, 1H and Z group adding and the one more hydrogen gets added up to oxygen. So you get a intermediate in which you have carbon, one OH group and one NHZ group. This intermediate immediately undergoes dehydration, that is removal of water molecule. How does dehydration happen? From here OH group and from here H group. H2O is removed and a new double bond is created between the carbon and nitrogen to give this compound. Okay. So this is the general reaction what I have written. But what can be the derivatives of ammonia? We have a long list of derivatives of ammonia which can undergo this reaction. We'll see them. See, if the Z group is H itself, then it is ammonia, correct? NH2Z we have. So, if Z is H, it is ammonia, that is NH3. If Z group is R group, then it is amine, that is, it is NH2 with R. RNH2 we call it as amine. If it is OH group, then it is hydroxylamine, that is NH2 with OH, we call it as hydroxylamine. NH2 and NH2, two NH2 groups. Z also is NH2 group, then we call it as hydrazine. Okay. Similarly, if R group is NH with a benzene ring, then it is phenyl hydrazine. Okay. Then if it is NH benzene ring with two NO2 groups, that is 2,4 dinitrophenyl hydrazine. See, why 2,4? This is first, second, third, fourth. So 2,4, two nitro groups are there in second and the fourth carbon atom. So it is 2,4 dinitrophenyl hydrazine. And if the R group is NHCO, NH2, it is semicarbazide. Okay. Now, when these react, what is the derivative we get and what is the product name? Remember, what will happen? First is this full group will get added up and intermediate, from that water is removed, correct? So if it is ammonia, you get carbon double bond NH group, that is called as imine, okay? If it is amine which is reacting, you get carbon double bond N with R group, that is called as substituted imine, or it is Kiff's base, okay? If it is hydroxylamine, you get carbon with double bond N with OH group, that is called as oxime. See, one thing if you see in the product what is common, it is carbon double bond nitrogen. You have carbon double bond nitrogen in all the products. Only the Z group you have to remember what it is, okay? In Z group, other than nitrogen, what is there? Your writing you have to remember, okay? So if it is NH2, then it is hydrazone. If it is NH with benzene ring, then it is phenyl hydrazone. If it is NH with benzene ring and 2 NO2 groups, it is 2,4 dinitrophenyl hydrazone, okay? Last it is NHCONH2 group is there, then we call it a semi-carbazone. Now how to write the reaction, I shall explain with one or two examples, okay? So I shall write the example with hydroxylamine and hydrazine, okay? And these are the two most commonly asked question compared to the others. So I'll write the general equation for both, that is when the carbonyl group is there of aldehyde or ketone, when it reacts with hydroxylamine it forms oxime, with hydrazine it forms hydrazone. Shall we write the reactions? Okay. So here I'll take carbon double bond O, carbonyl group. I'll take this as R and this as H, that is aldehyde. For ketone if they ask, instead of H you have to write one more R group, okay? So this one, if it is reacting with hydroxylamine, so NH2 with OH, what is this? Hydroxylamine. So what is the product formed here? Directly I will write, I am not writing the intermediate here. Not necessary that you have to write the intermediate. You have to remember water is the one which is getting removed. H2O is getting removed. So you will get carbon R and H double bond NOH, and this is called as oxime, okay? What is getting removed? Water is getting removed. Same way, we will write one more, that is for R, C, double bond O, H, aldehyde with hydrazine, I will write. Hydrazine is NH2, NH2. So, when it reacts with hydrazine, of course, in the presence of acid, you need to write that there is removal of what? Water molecule, and the product formed will be RCH double bond N, then NH2. This is hydrazone which is formed, okay? So these are the general reactions. Now if they ask you to write the example, how will you write? For examples, I'll just take acetone reacting with hydroxylamine, okay? So acetone is what? R is CH3 group, carbon double bond O, and this also is CH3 group, that is acetone, correct? Acetone plus hydroxylamine, what will happen? Water will be removed. So product will be CH3, C, CH3 double bond NOH, that is acetoxime is formed, okay, with water which is removed. Similarly, I can write the example for this also, that is, I'll take an aldehyde as an example. I'll take acetaldehyde, CH3, C, double bond O, H. This is what? Acetaldehyde, okay, with hydrazine. what will form? Water will be removed and you will get CH3, C, H, double bond, N, NH2. That is acetaldehyde hydrazone. Okay, and water will be removed. This is how we write the examples. I hope you have understood how to write the general reactions or the examples of all of them. Same way you can write for all of them. I have written only 2 here because basically if you see the previous papers, these 2 are asked more number of times compared to the other examples. Okay. Next is reduction reactions. Under reduction reactions, first we have reduction to alcohols. So what is happening? If we take an aldehyde or a ketone and treat it with reducing agents, for example, aldehyde in the presence of hydrogen in the presence of a catalyst. So we call it as catalytic hydrogenation. We get primary alcohol. Whereas if you take a ketone and treat it with sodium borohydride, NaBH4, what is it called as? Sodium borohydride, or I can take lithium aluminium hydride. Any one of the catalysts I can use for reduction. It will get converted to a secondary alcohol. So we'll write examples for this. R, I will take it as CH3 group. Okay. So it is CH3, CHO, that is acetaldehyde, plus hydrogen in the presence of palladium as the catalyst. I'll get CH3, CH2OH, that is ethanol. This is a primary alcohol. Correct? Same way, I'll write an example for taking any ketone as an example. Okay, I'll take acetone as an example and write where R and R dash both are CH3 groups. So I shall write the example for secondary alcohol. For production of secondary alcohol, I'll take CH3, C double bond O, CH3. What is this? This is acetone. In the presence of, I can take example lithium aluminium hydride, or I can take sodium borohydride. Okay, what we'll get? CH3, CHOH, CH3. So I'll get 2 propanol. Okay, so this is the reduction of aldehydes and ketones to get primary alcohol and a secondary alcohol respectively. Next reaction is reduction to hydrocarbons. Under that we have Clemenson's reduction, a very important question. Okay, several times previously this question is asked. Here what is happening is the carbonyl group of aldehyde or the ketone gets reduced to CH2 group in the presence of zinc amalgam and concentrated HCl. You can see carbonyl group gets converted to CH2 group by production of water. Now I shall write the example for this general equation. I'll take aldehyde as well as ketone as example. I shall take acetaldehyde, that is CH3, C double bond OH. So this is what? Acetaldehyde. Okay. In the presence of zinc amalgam. Zinc with mercury we call it as zinc amalgam and concentrated HCl. What will we get? CH3. Now this gets converted to CH2 plus 1H. So it is CH3, isn't it? So CH3, CH3 and water is formed. This is nothing but ethane. Correct? Similarly, I'll take acetone example and I will write. Acetone, what is the structure? CH3, C double bond O, CH3. This is what? Acetone. Acetone with zinc amalgam and concentrated HCl. What I will get? CH3, CO group also gets converted to CH2 group. One more CH3 is there. So this is propane plus water is formed. So this reaction we call it as Clemenson's reduction. And what is the catalyst that is used in Clemenson's reduction? It is zinc amalgam and concentrated HCl. It is very, very important question. Okay. Next we will see Wolff-Kishner's reduction. Again, this is a very important reaction. So what exactly is happening here? The carbonyl group CO group of aldehydes and ketones when treated with hydrazine, okay, corresponding hydrazone are obtained. Further, the hydrazone, okay, is treated with NaOH or KOH, ethylene glycol gives hydrocarbons. So it is a three-step reaction. First, we take the carbonyl group, treat it with hydrazine, you get hydrazone. Further, treat it with NaOH or KOH in ethylene glycol, heat it, you get hydrocarbon. Okay. So what exactly is happening? First, the oxygen is removed, NH2 group is getting added up. When you heat it with potassium hydroxide or sodium hydroxide in ethylene glycol, nitrogen is getting liberated to get hydrocarbon. Okay. So, shall we write the example for this? First, I shall take acetaldehyde as the example. So, I will get CH3, C double bond O, H with hydrazine, NH2, NH2. Water is getting removed, of course, minus H2O is there. So, I will get the product as CH3, C double bond N, NH2. And here it is H. So, this is hydrazone, which on further treating with KOH in ethylene glycol, when it is heated, what is happening? Nitrogen N2 will be removed and I will get CH3 carbon with 3 hydrogen atom, one more CH3 group plus nitrogen is getting removed. This is ethane what is formed. Okay. Similarly, I'll write the example with acetone, that is a ketone. Okay. So with acetone, CH3, C, CH3, double bond O. What is this? Acetone. Okay. And hydrazine, NH2, NH2. Water is getting removed, that is H2O gets removed. I'll get CH3, C, CH3, double bond N, NH2. Further, it is treated with KOH in the presence of ethylene glycol. When it is heated, 2 nitrogen molecules will be removed. I'll get CH3, CH2, CH3 plus N2 will be removed and this is called as propane. Okay. So, for every reaction you need to write or learn to write 2 examples, one with aldehyde, one with ketone as an example. Next is oxidation reactions. Now, oxidation of aldehydes and ketones will give rise to carboxylic acids when we are using a strong oxidizing agent. So, what will happen? If I take aldehydes, okay, in the presence of a common oxidizing agent like KMNO4, nitric acid or K2Cr2O7, that is potassium dichromate, they are all strong oxidizing agent. What do we get? We get carboxylic acids. Aldehydes, when you use mild oxidizing agent, they will get oxidized like mild oxidizing agents like Tollens reagent, okay, or Fellings reagent. But ketones will not get oxidized in the presence of mild oxidizing agent. Ketones oxidizes only under vigorous conditions. That is, only when there is a strong oxidizing agent and there is an elevated temperature, there is an increase in temperature, they will form carboxylic acids. With mild oxidizing agents, ketones will not react. That is because carbon-carbon bond breakage is there in ketones. Okay, so we'll see the reaction here. In this particular compound, I'll number this carbon as 1, 2, 3 and there are 2 R groups. This is a ketone. Now, when there is a strong oxidizing agent, when it is added here, if there is the breakage between C1 and C2, these two carbon bond is broken, then I will get RCOOH, one product, and R-CH2COOH, the other product. If there is a breakage between second and third carbon atom, then I'll get RCH2COOH and R-COOH. So, you can get 4 different types of carboxylic acid depending on what is R and R- group. And remember, ketones will not react with mild oxidizing agent. Only with strong oxidizing agents under vigorous conditions, it can give carboxylic acids. Whereas, aldehydes can react with mild oxidizing agent as well as strong oxidizing agents. So, we'll see the reactions with Tollens reagent as well as the Fellings test. Okay. So, Tollens test is what? If there is an aldehyde group and if you add Tollens reagent is called as ammoniacal silver nitrate. So, you have Ag, silver and ammonia group, that is NH3 group is there, and this is Tollens reagent. This is one of the complex ions of Tollens reagent. In the presence of OH minus, see, aldehyde gets converted to carboxylic acids and it will form silver precipitate. That is why you will get a black or a silver mirror as precipitate. Okay, and ammonia is liberated. So, when we are doing the Tollens reagent test, you take an aldehyde, add Tollens reagent and heat it in the water bath. In the test tube, you can see a silver mirror is formed. That is, you can see a bright color silvery, precipitate kind of thing is formed or black precipitate is formed. Okay. If we take Fellings solution, now what is Fellings solution? Fellings reagent or Fellings solution is Fellings solution A plus Fellings solution B. Okay. Fellings solution A is aqueous solution of copper sulfate. Fellings solution B is alkaline solution of sodium potassium tartarate. So, you take an alkaline solution of sodium potassium tartarate and mix it with copper sulfate solution, that is aqueous, that's called as the Fellings reagent. Now, the Fellings reagent, when it is heated with aldehyde, okay, then a reddish brown precipitate of cuprous oxide is formed. We know copper sulfate is there and that is getting converted to Cu2O, red brown precipitate of Cu2O is formed. So, aldehydes is getting converted to carboxylic acid in the presence of Cu plus 2 ion and the base OH minus ion to give a red brown precipitate of Cu2O, okay, that is copper oxide, or I can tell cuprous oxide. Okay. So, that's about the Tollens reagent test and the Fellings solution test, which is answered only by aldehydes and not by ketones. Okay. Next is oxidation of methyl ketones by haloform reaction. See, this reaction is also called as iodoform reaction. What happens? This reaction is given only in the presence of this particular group. We call that as methyl carbonyl group. If there is no COCH3 group, okay, then haloform reactions cannot happen. Now, for example, if we take methyl ketone, why methyl ketone? I am very specifically telling it's methyl ketone because see, ketone group is normally ketone what we write R, C double bond O, R dash. In this, one of the R group should be methyl group, then we call it as methyl ketone. So you can see RCOCH3 is a methyl ketone. So methyl ketone will react with sodium hypohalite. Okay, so NaOX. X can be chlorine, bromine or iodine. If it is iodine, this is iodoform reaction. If it is chlorine, you will get chloroform. If it is bromine, you will get bromoform. Okay, so you can take anything. Sodium hypohalite generally we are writing. So we are taking NaOX. X can be iodine, chlorine or bromine. What will happen first is this completely gets removed. The methyl group is getting removed and instead of that ONA group is getting added up. So you will get a sodium salt of a carboxylic acid from here. But remember, one methyl group is completely getting removed and that is getting converted as the haloform. Okay, so if it is iodine, this will be iodoform. If it is chlorine, chloroform. If it is bromine, it is bromoform, which is formed here. Okay. Now, if there is a carbon-carbon double bond, this is unaffected. No effect will happen on this. The reaction is very specific to only methyl carbonyl group, that is CH3CO group. Only around that the reaction happens. Rest R group, whatever it is, it remains as it is. So you can see here when it is treated with NaOCl, what happens? This bond is broken. ONA comes here. So you have ONA and CH reacts with chlorine to form CHCl3. Chloroform is formed here. Okay. So if you want me to write one more example, I can write for this. I'll take R as CH3 group. So I will get CH3, C double bond O, CH3. Okay. I'll take NaOI, okay, sodium hypoiodide I have taken, which will give CH3, C double bond O, ONA plus CHI3, iodoform is formed. Okay, so this particular reaction is given only by which one? Methyl ketones. Not even aldehydes, not even normal any ketone, it will be given only by methyl ketones. And this one particular reaction is very, very, very important for your competitive exams as well as your board exams. More competitive exams, many times it has been asked. Okay, so that's about the oxidation of methyl ketones. Next class, we'll be learning about reactions due to alpha hydrogen and about Cannizzaro reaction and also about electrophilic substitution reactions. So thank you, my dear children. I hope you have understood today's class. Stay tuned, stay focused.